one episode review. I take a recently airing show, watch the very first episode, and then tell you what I think about the show based off of that very first episode. Because while you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, in anime, the first impression, that first episode, is always the most important. Today's victim, Francesca. Francesca, Girls Be Ambitious, is an anime adaptation of an undead character by the same name, which is meant to promote the Hokkaido region of Japan. The show boasts a short format, that is to say a 11-minute episode or a half-length episode, so it's a little bit longer than Gundam-san, per se. Now, if you're not one for spoilers, I'll give you a few seconds here for you to jump ahead. Okay, so from what I've gathered as far as the storyline of this show is concerned, there's a larger than normal number of undead that seems to be populating the Hokkaido region. And this exorcist character is tasked with, trying to kill these undead, stop these undead, and there's this huge number that she's witnessed, and basically she has to join forces with the strongest, most ruthless of the undead, who is named Francesca, in order to stop this undead rising. Now, in this first episode, we're introduced to a ton of secondary characters that I'm not sure we're going to even see ever again. We are also introduced to the resurrection of this Francesca character. As far as the plot of the story seems to go, we pretty much focus, for the most part, on this exorcist character. We follow her as she's walking around Hokkaido and searches for an area where all of these new undead people that she's noticing seem to be converging to. Now, she doesn't seem to find the actual spot right away. She thinks it's one place, goes there, and gets into a fight with this perverted undead character, who looks like he's probably going to be a repeating character for the rest of the series, based off of, I believe it's the same person that we see at the very beginning, who seems to be very serious or whatnot at the very beginning, but then we see him and he's all about touching these two undead girls that's over there with him, and basically the exorcist chick tries to kill him, he gets away, and then they look at all of the information that she's pointing out, and they're like, you're not in the right place, you need to go here to this mountain place a little bit further away. And so she goes, and these people get away. Really great exorcist lady. You just let them get away. But whatever. She heads off in that direction, and then we switch focus to two other undead characters, one of which who is apparently a statue that's in this town that the exorcist chick had gone to. They are climbing up the mountain to get up to the peak of the mountain, and it looks like they're about to resurrect the strongest, most ruthless of the undead, because they need to in order to protect Hokkaido, because apparently there's some big bad thing happening. And then they're apparently being stopped by a bunch of these other converging undead as coming through. They basically look like communist zombies. Come walking in, and they kill a bunch of them, and then the one guy does this magic circle thing, and all of a sudden Francesca is awoken. Francesca being the big bad undead person. Basically, she looks like a Lolita girl with dressed in Lolita setup. Very cute looking, though she's kind of angry when she comes out, and she has this giant heart-shaped hole out of her chest. Well, now, while all this is going on, the exorcist girl shows up and witnesses all of this happening, and then Francesca wakes up and she's like, "Who awoken me?" And then she sends her hair out and captures all of these communist undead people and kills them all, and then they die, and then she's sitting there and looking at the two undead people who had resurrected her, and she's like, "You're the ones who resurrected me, I'm all angry and whatnot," and then she's hit by lightning. So she gets hit by lightning, and then we see her down on the ground, and what looks like her brain seems to be walking away from her with feet and face and whatnot. She then, a couple seconds later, a dog comes over, and what I thought looks like it was eating her. I think basically the dog was licking her face, waking her up. So she wakes up, and she's no longer all dark and whatnot. She's brightly colored, smiling, cheery face, and she's all like, "Undead Hokkaido!" And that's the end of the episode. So from what I can gather, it seems like what had happened is she was struck by lightning, went brain dead, whatnot, and now she's a cute, bubbly anime girl ready to front run a very silly series. End of episode. Okay, so in light of all the information that I can gather from this first episode, it appears like this show is going to be a lighthearted and silly, slapsticky comedy series that has a little bit of dark undertones to it. The animation quality, it seems very rushed. Well, it seems like it doesn't have very high production values. One of the major things that I noticed throughout the whole entire episode is that the mouths did not move really in any way, shape, or form similarly to how the voices were speaking, which is something that we've grown accustomed to actually seeing in most anime, of actually having lip syncing happening. This looks like old school animation where they didn't really have time to animate after the voices. They animated first, and the voice work tried to match that. It looks like very bad dubbing to me, but that seems to be the standard quality there. Everything seems to be rushed, low production quality, all of that type of stuff. I mean, at the same time, the storyline is really weird too. I mean, they're trying to tell what seems to be a very serious story, but right in the middle of the story, they'll take an aside and they'll just start doing slapsticky stuff or tell a joke or something else like that. And it's almost like it's trying too hard to lighten the mood or something. All in all, though, it just looks like an average, silly comedy anime that is basically trying to cash in on the fact that it could be good advertisement in order to draw attention to Hokkaido, really. Big, major publicity stunt, honestly, is what it seems like. Now, as for recommendations, I can honestly say I'm slightly intrigued by this first episode. Intrigued just enough that I might give a second episode a chance, just to kind of see what it winds up coming out to be. But all in all, the actual height that the second episode is on my list of anime to watch is not very high. It's rather low. The production value, it's just really low production value, and I'm honestly not very engrossed in the storyline. It didn't capture me, it didn't grab me. It's just, you know, I want something serious. I'm not necessarily looking for something silly or slapsticky. I'm just not a fan of this type of show, honestly. Though, if you do like the silly, zany stuff where something tries to be serious but then actually winds up just being silly and off the wall, this will probably be right up your wheelhouse. Undead Hokkaido! This is Nate, signing off.